Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about just the impact that nutrition can have in our life that we don't really think about. And a lot of times when people talk about mindset and like the power of positivity, they don't often link this back to something that is actually being like hugely studied right now, and there's tons of information about out there if you want to find it now. And it's also something that in the fertility world, not enough people are talking about, like the power of nutrition and what we're eating. So I thought I would just jump on here and make a video because I am super passionate about nutrition. I've done a lot of self-learning about the right kind of nutrition for your body, what is super helpful for female hormones, and also what's really great for your mind. I am a person that I kind of talked in my last video about how I kind of just like disappeared for a while and stopped focusing on my dreams and making things happen. A lot of that came down to me making really not good food choices. And because I personally for sure have a bunch of food sensitivities, the impact that has on me is actually quite large and very noticeable. So when I get in a negative place and I want to feed that emotion with food, I make a poor food choice, and then it just like spirals down from there. And the more bad food I eat, like in general, my mood goes way down and my anxiety goes way up, and then I'm kind of lost. So, and then I know that as soon as I clean up my diet and eat the right food for like my personal body and how I feel when I eat certain foods, like it's a life changer just in my brain, which then becomes a life changer in my life. My house gets cleaner, my kids get more attentive, like focus from me. So I'm a better parent. Like my relationship with my husband gets better. I'm sure I get better at my work. Like there's so many things, and my motivation comes back, and that's all just from cleaning up my diet, eating the things that are good for me, that sort of thing. So the other thing, like, so yes, that's mindset and how that plays into mindset, but then I want to go back into fertility. And fertility is comes at you on two fronts, right? So fertility obviously comes from like the nutrition. Like the nutrition hits like two parts of like this fertility journey. And so obviously what we're talking about is mindset. Is it clears like some of the junk out of your head and allows you to think more clearly, and have a better like thought process around things, which I think anybody who's gone through infertility can totally understand the value of that. The second thing that it really impacts is nutrition. So from very early in my infertility, not very early, but after we were diagnosed with infertility, officially that was the diagnosis, one of the first things that my husband and I started focusing on was nutrition and cleaning up our health. So we're working with a naturopath, we did detoxes, followed an eating plan, lost weight, and just started getting healthier in general. Now, on my husband's part, there was a lot of things to be done, but I was able to improve my cycle. I was able to just in general get more energy. So by reducing the stress I was putting on my body by poor food choices, I was able to get a higher level of energy and positivity to help, work me through the whole process. So I believe that nutrition was a big part of why in the end that we were able to have our babies. There's a really great book called It Starts with the Egg. Maybe I'll link it down below if you haven't seen it, heard of it, read it. But we took the principles and I applied them to myself and my husband. So what happens a lot is in fertility is we do all these things to clean up the woman's body, remove the toxins, make sure that the eggs are healthy and ready to turn into wonderful little humans. But we forget that like the male plays 50%. So yes, the woman carries them in her body, obviously. And so having a clean environment that is lower stress for the growing baby is important. But when you're looking at making sure that 50% of the DNA in the situation is going to be healthy, it's also very important that you put that energy back into your spouse. And once again, helping him clean up his diet will help with his mindset and his ability to continue through on this really hard journey. So specifically, I just want to quickly touch on a couple things that have been known to help with fertility and hormone regulation. I want to preface this with saying that I am not a doctor, and obviously any choices that you make for your body should be a decision you make for yourself with or without your doctor. But I can tell you what a lot of people are saying and what works really well for myself. So a lot of fertility issues actually stem from either autoimmune concerns or like a lack of insulin response. So they call it that, like, having a lack of insulin sensitivity, which means that for someone with PCOS specifically, there is a huge dysregulation in their hormones when they eat carbohydrates, because the carbohydrates cause a huge, like, the insulin response, and because they're not sensitive to it, it's an excessive amount of insulin. So if your body can only produce so many hormones at a time, and it's being forced over and over again to make insulin, it's really struggling, from my understanding, to also make sex hormones. And for someone with PCOS, you start to see like lack of ovulation happening because like the sex hormones just aren't being able to be made. The other thing is that testosterone, because it can actually become out of balance and then result in some of the other issues that people have with PCOS, like hair loss or growth in places you don't want it, because of the hormone dysregulation. So if you want to address your PCOS, the first place to start is to look at the carbohydrates that you're eating and greatly reduce them. Some diets for you to look into would be like the Mediterranean diet, depending, or preferred is the keto diet. Hugely effective in reducing insulin and regaining back the ability to make some of those sex hormones, reproductive hormones that will get you ovulating regularly. One of the other big factors for infertility can be endometriosis. So you would know you have endometriosis to some extent based on usually the amount of pain you have with a period. So if your period is pain-free, then you can usually assume that you have healthy hormones. A period isn't meant to be painful. This is really important. If you have pain with your period, then something is out of whack. And unfortunately, lots of doctors are just going to hand you a pill that takes away the pain and sends you on your way and never take the time to deal with that. But if you are having pain with period, I can tell you that I had what would be cramping that was, I would never say excessive, but when we went through infertility, they did find a little bit of endo around my ovary, which never impacted my fertility because it was such a small amount. And I don't have that. From whatever I've done, like that pain has gone away. It might have shrunk through pregnancy because sometimes that will happen. But the cramping I had was a result of endo. So the more of the endometriosis that you have in your body, the more painful your period is. And it's an immune response inside your body. So it falls under the category of autoimmune disorder. And so if you have an autoimmune disorder, these can be a lot of things. I think MS falls under autoimmune. Crohn's disease can fall under autoimmune. And this is just your body's immune system's inability to do what it needs to do so properly, and it starts attacking itself. So if you find yourself in this place with endometriosis and painful periods, you're going to want to look at doing elimination diets and autoimmune protocols. And just research them and find out what works well for you. The other thing that you can look into doing is like an IgG test, which tells you what food your body is reacting to, and just eliminate those foods until, I don't even know. Some people say 30 days, some people say a year. I think it would just depend on like how committed you are to making sure your body is able to clear this up. And I think like a sign that you would know that this is working is like every month your period's getting a little less painful. And I think that it'll be quite obvious to you once you've figured out what the golden ticket is. Our bodies are quite good at healing themselves if we give them the opportunity to do so. And sometimes in modern medicine, it's easier to put like a Band-Aid on it with a drug than it is for them to work with you and find out what exactly the problem is. And I think as far as fertility goes, we need to be empowered as people who own our bodies and people who know what we want to do this research and try some new things and figure out what is going to work for our body, because the end goal is to have a family. And I think a lot of people going through infertility will try anything, and I don't ever think that nutrition is without its rewards. And I can't say that obviously changing your nutrition is going to result in a baby for sure, but I can tell you that if you take the time to really focus in on what you're eating and only eating the things that serve a purpose for your body, when it comes time and you do get to be pregnant, whether that's through natural means or IVF, the environment that you're growing that baby in is going to be healthier and more nutrient rich. You're also going to have a lower stress level in your body from inflammation, from eating food that doesn't respond well in your body. So there's just a lot of really great things around focusing on nutrition on your journey to motherhood and on your journey to having a really great mindset. So to me, knowing that nutrition can make your mindset better and improve your chances of having a baby and growing your family, I believe focusing on this area is just a win-win situation. And I hope that this video helps you in recognizing and having some thoughts on what you can do to take control of your own fertility and mindset through this crazy journey. Subscribe to my channel if you want to learn a little bit more about mindset, fertility, and things like that. If you want to check out my personal journey with food and some other stuff that I'm working on, I have a second channel called Amy Brooke Vlogs, where I focus in on, I don't focus on anything actually, it's just kind of random. I don't focus on anything. It's actually kind of random, and it's just whatever's happening in my life that I think somebody somewhere might find helpful or interesting. So over there I'm talking about what protocol I'm currently eating to make myself healthier, and some other things that's going on in my life. So if you want to get to know me a little bit more, go find me on Amy Brooke Vlogs, and then like this video because it's pretty helpful. That's it for now. I will talk to you all later. Bye.